Hi, I'm Panda Hershey with Your Full Expression. Welcome to the August 3rd Coffee and Charts call, where I talk about how over the next 2 weeks, you can stop pushing for the changes that you've been trying to implement and let that momentum carry you for the next 3 weeks or so. I also remind you that we're still in this halftime period of learning how we're applying our accumulated wisdom and experience. And from about August 8th until the 10th, you'll get some validation that you're on the right track and that you know how to keep going. So be sure to look for that. I also talk about how during the week from August 10th to the 17th, which also includes the full moon on the 12th, this will be an opportunity to think about how you've streamlined some part of your life and that has enabled you to shine in some way and offer your gifts and have them received. And starting on August 13th, you may find some themes from the spring returning. And we'll discuss that more on the next call. As always, we'll watch the movement of the planets and I point out some key days to pay attention to. So thanks for watching and I'll see you on the other side. So, I think my fears about August 1st, when Mars was crossing over Uranus, did not come to fruition, which was great. I was concerned about, frankly, some violence, and I think some of the things that I did see were, an example of that. It is fighting to enforce a change or to really make solid some structural change that somebody feels needs to happen. And we did see that with a drone strike, but for the most part, I felt like we cruised through. And then when I think about that portal finishing, I think about the vote in Kansas as Mars in Uranus showing up to defend any attempts at change, right? Unprecedented. And that is a wonderful way for these things to show up. And it's an indication of, you can see where that path leads, right? Well, everyone is emboldened in their own way to do what has to be done in their opinions to defend what they know, what everyone knows what they're fighting for. And that is what we're heading into in the fall. So here we go. So yesterday, Mars left the Uranus portal at 19 degrees of Taurus. Today, so on the 8th, next Monday, look at Venus here opposite the Pluto portal. Now, remember that Mercury went through and the sun went through at the same time, where we were getting some ideas about some perspective on how we've been using our tools and wisdom this year. And with Venus going through, there is some indication of how your instincts, even though it feels so far away from actually having done all the implementation work that has to happen this year, of how you are applying your wisdom and experience to make stuff happen this year. Like, it does not feel complete at all because we're in halftime. And Venus coming through for a couple days, starting on next Monday, will start to give you hopefully some indications that you're on the right track. So that's what we'll look for. We'll have some perspective on that. And then the 10th, it leaves a week from today. And at the same time, the sun is opposite the Saturn portal. Again, perspective. It means that the Earth is placed between Saturn and the sun, and it gets to see both of them. And so that Leo energy of doing things that are easeful for you, doing things that you can shine at, that you do things and people receive them and love them if you don't overdo them. And then that perspective on Saturn having to let go of things. So the way it may occur to you on those days is because you've streamlined your life in some way, you're able to shine. You're able to do something that feels easeful, maybe because there's space for it. But it'll be interesting to see how it shows up in your life. And so this is when it enters the portal. And for the next few days, it moves through. Oh, I want to back up. Notice also that the moon is crossing over. So when the full moon happens, I believe on the 10th, or the 11th or 12th, that will feel like, I think, a real perspective, because it's like the moon is emphasizing that streamlining. It's like, yes, I've really let go of something and it's great, or maybe that needs to come back into my life. Okay. On the 17th, it leaves, so it's about a week. And that's it. So we'll go back and look at it. So we'll watch Venus and the sun become opposite these. Look also at this space between the sun and Mercury. I've just been noticing in my own life that people tell me they want to arrange things or they're asking me to do things, but my ability to actually execute on that and follow up is lagging way behind. Cannot do it. And so again, it's that needing to have patience with the follow-up, give yourself padding, like don't overcommit yourself, and allow that for others as well. Encourage them to give themselves some padding. If you have to pack for a trip, like don't push it all to the last minute. Make sure that you've kind of given yourself some space to do that. Okay, so here we go. There we go. All right. Any questions? Okay.
I like that going backwards.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah.
I love watching how fast the moon circles around. I mean,
Yeah,
it's really fun to see it from above.
Yes, yes. And it's even from our perspective from above, right? It's not even from the universe's perspective, which is
Wow.
also fascinating to see. That one time where I showed how that opposition just places the Earth right in the middle between those two bodies. So, so you can kind of see both, side eye, right? Okay, so Uranus, this is finished up yesterday. If you had any thoughts about how you were trying hard to make some changes, or you've been working on some changes in your life and you've been pushing them through or seeing others do it. And yesterday was kind of the last day of it. And it's time to let the momentum carry you. When we stop exerting pressure on something, there is still some movement that carries on. And Uranus actually doesn't station retrograde until a few weeks from now. And so there's like a little momentum there. So just allow that to happen. And things may still shift and come. And then when it stations retrograde, we'll work with whatever changes we've got. But any push that you were feeling over the last week, it's time to let it go. And any notes on this might be helpful of what you were trying to change, because that can be something for the next cycle when Uranus goes forward again at the beginning of 2023. So now just coast. So I added a question from last time of how clear am I about the restructuring that is going on in this part of my life. Remember, you look at where the portal is, you go to the center, look at that house. For me, it's like complete restructuring of who I am and how I show up. And I'm getting pretty clear on what that means for me. And hopefully you guys can think about that too, because there is more to come. And it's always nicer and more comfortable when we're guiding the change instead of letting the change pull us. So, okay, the Pluto portal with Venus opposite Pluto is, I didn't change this. It should be as Venus. Oh, hang on. Let's go back. Here we go. What validation am I receiving to trust my instincts or feelings on how to complete the portal? Remember, we're at halftime for implementing how we're going to pull it all together. And hopefully there's some nice validation over those 3 days that you're on the right track, even though it feels so far away. And one of the things that I've learned so much about over the last 3 or 4 years is managing my need to know. For so much of my life, I felt like I had to have every single step planned out and where I was going and how I was getting there. And this is possibly a time where you get to trust the process and you take the step that's appropriate at the time, and then you allow that step to open the next door, because we can't always envision how it's going to happen. And sometimes we just get a little validation at some point and take that as the nod from the universe that, okay, just keep going, you're doing it right. Okay. Now with Saturn and that releasing and streamlining our life in some way, we've got the sun opposite here. Remember, Mercury passed through last time. And here, now that you've streamlined your life a bit, what are you doing during that week that feels fun or easy? Or what are you doing? We can flip it. What are you doing that feels fun or easy for you and is made that way because you streamlined your life in some way? Can you make that connection? When Saturn goes direct again in mid to late October, there is going to be more streamlining that starts to happen, kind of deepening what we've already done. And can you see where this is going? And particularly if you have something at 20 to 22 degrees on that August 12th full moon, where the moon is passing over Saturn, do you have some wider perspective about the portal? So just something to think about, how you're streamlining your life here. And then one last thing, and I should have pointed this out. Mars, remember, just went through that Uranus portal in kind of mid-Taurus, which over here is around here. That means that is going to start passing through the later degrees of Taurus, right? It just keeps moving around and it will start to move into Gemini. But we had a Mercury retrograde portal back in April, May, early June, that we were reflecting on how we were showing up and what ideas came from that. So with Mars going through that same space, it may feel like some themes from that time are returning. And if you took any notes or if you came to the Mercury retrograde workshop, review those questions. Like, how is that coming back? And the questions are very broad, right? But now your heart's involved. It's not just thinking, but it's like you're committed. And this is a great time to reflect on that, because I think you'll feel so much clearer about it compared to then. And the Mars retrograde happens right after it rolls through this space in the sky. And so you can kind of see the straight line forward, curved line, I guess, in this case, of where it's going. And that is going to be what your, where you're going to put your heart into your communications and your ideas from September through March. Okay. So I hope to put it all together. Right now, you are getting perspective on what you've done to use your wisdom and streamline your life. That's from being opposite Pluto and Saturn. And can you envision when they go direct in October, how you're going to deepen that, right? You're in halftime right now. You're, back in the locker room, thinking about all the plays you've done and what you've done well, and what new plays you're going to have to pull out of your toolbox for the second half. Then what themes are returning from the spring, and how are you going to channel your commitment to them? So that's kind of your taste of the next 2 weeks. So just if you did not have a chance to write about the Jupiter stationing retrograde back on July 29th, we're kind of in that phase where you could still write about the growth you've been experiencing since May, and celebrate it. You don't have to push for any more, because just making it part of you is plenty.
Oh, we're in a Jupiter retrograde.
Yes, we are in a Jupiter retrograde. So not pushing for growth is a good thing, because that's not where the energy is going. Mars finished its Uranus portal, so no need to push for additional changes. Just take the momentum that you got from all the work that's been happening with all the shifts in your life and how you show up. And you've got about 3 weeks or so of momentum there. Then, with Venus opposite the Pluto portal, you're at that halfway point for learning how you're using your accumulated wisdom and experience, and what validation are you getting that you're on track. And with the sun being opposite Saturn, hopefully you're finding some fun, something to shine about, and hopefully you can connect it to how you've let go of some things in your life that you don't need anymore, that don't serve you. And finally, as Mars is going through this old Mercury retrograde portal that we've already experienced, what themes are coming back, and making some notes on that, and how do you harness that, right? How do you guide where it's going to go in the fall and winter? So, survival tips. Mercury is getting further and further ahead of the sun. So the ideas are going to come quickly, but the follow-up is lagging. So just be patient with yourself and others. You don't need to push anymore for any change. Let the momentum carry you. And again, just getting ready for the fall. And instead of resting, just shine and do what feels fun. This is that Leo time. So do what's easeful for you, and allow others to receive that and appreciate you, because that's what Leo is all about. Okay. All right. Any questions? I'm going to stop sharing. Any questions at all? All right, it's 8:50. Oh my God, I'm on time. All right, so we meet again in 2 weeks, and that one I'm looking forward to, because it's going to cover a lot, and it'll be a 3-week thing. So just if you can tune in, that'll be awesome. There will be a number of things that happen post in the next section. So I love you all.
Love you too.
Okay, good luck, you guys. Shine, shine, shine. It's Leo time. Okay? I hope you feel prepared to move through these next 2 weeks and can use this time to see how much you've actually done this year. Don't forget to have some patience with yourself and others as you discuss things and have ideas about how to make them better. Any follow-up is going to take a little bit of time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.